Hello and welcome to the Forward Podcast. We're excited to be with you again this week. I'm Kari Shepherd, your host, and my hostess.
Really?
I couldn't think of the word hosty. Co-host.
I will not be a hostess, thank you. Welcome to Cracker Barrel. I'm Thomas Shepherd. I'll be your hostess tonight. 5-star. I'm not a rising star. I've been here a long time.
I think of hostess Twinkie. Do they still have Twinkies?
Oh, wow. You think of me as a Twinkie? This is going to... Have I gained that much weight?
We need to start over. I really botched this one.
We're going to need marriage counseling after this one.
Is there a hostess Twinkie
really
left?
Great about myself now.
Didn't they take those off the...
I'm going to sit over in my little corner with my arms crossed.
Boy, I haven't started us off in a while, and I could not think of the word co-host.
I know it's funny. When I said, hey, you want to start us out tonight? I was thinking the same thing. Man, Kari hasn't kind of started us in a while.
You've just been running me over. Just taking over this podcast like it wasn't my idea.
Well, do you see what happens when you start us out? 4 minutes later, we're still talking about Twinkies. And
now I want a Twinkie.
Oh, my word. Well,
my word,
welcome to the Forward Podcast. We are so grateful each and every week that we get to come, and man, hundreds are tuning in. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of what we want to address tonight. First of all, let me just say thank you to all those who reach out all the time, who have been on Spotify or Apple and given us 5-star reviews. Man, that helps so much.
Yes, thank you.
In the podcast world, that helps a ton. But then even on YouTube and a couple of others, people have been sharing them over the last about 10 episodes a lot. And that always really just helps get the word out. And the Forward Podcast, obviously, we don't make money on this. We are just here to help people. Yeah. And if you're tuning in for the first time, Kari and I work in the ministry here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we love helping people. We love sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ with people, and over 100 episodes now. So over a year and a half, we started this. Man, I remember getting together in Orlando, Florida, and we were like, okay, if we're going to do this, let's start in. We started right now, then just kind of planning ahead, and it still took us probably 6 months later and we got off the ground. But here we are, and it's solely designed to be a blessing and encouragement and a help in tackling everyday circumstances, everyday topics, I guess is what I like to say.
Yeah.
Because some people think that this is just a marriage podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kurt Skelly has said that 10 times now. And I'm still like, Kurt.
What, that it's a marriage podcast?
Yeah, I was like, you guys.
Well, he obviously doesn't listen to it. Now we know.
I haven't been bold enough to tell him that yet. He's like, we just did their marriage conference. He's like, man, you guys have such a great corner on just, a couple and just talking about marriage. And I'm like, well, brother, I've told you 5 times now, but we talk more about, we talk a lot about more topics than just marriage.
We covered Twinkies tonight. What else does he want? Gosh, Kurt.
Now I'm going to tell him to really listen to this podcast, this episode.
Random off topic.
Okay.
But shout out to our girl, Kristen, who has helped us over the years post and handle our socials and all of that, had her baby a few days ago.
Oh.
Yes, her and Andy had their first baby. I'm so happy for them. A little
They're
boy.
going to be incredible parents.
Oh my goodness.
Like, holy
I know.
mackerel.
So cool.
He got Andy already, like, he'd be the kind of guy, it'd be a dream to work with him. Both of them in ministry.
Oh,
like,
yeah. They're both amazing people.
We see them at Camp Kobiak the last, 2 years now. And have I not said every time, oh man, I would love to just work on the same team as Andy. Like,
yeah, they're incredible.
Oh, they're a power couple.
And now they have a baby, and so it's
they listen to this episode. Congratulations, for sure.
So awesome to see their family growing, and I know they prayed for this for a good while, and man, it's just a blessing.
It is. It is
such a blessing.
It's awesome. That's one thing about ministry life is you meet people all around the world, really, but all around, especially the U.S. as we speak out more in these conferences. You meet such incredible people. But then in the podcasting world, you do as well. Like, you're introduced to people who, this is a true story. Y'all are going to laugh at this. I can't believe I haven't brought this up yet. Oh my word, where were we? It was where we were in Israel.
I don't know what you're going to say, or I would help you.
I think we were up near Galilee. We're eating at this tiny restaurant owned by a family. and several other tour buses were there, not part of our group. And we're sitting there, and a guy comes up and was like, "Hey, Mr. Shepherd." And I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
"Yeah." And he was like, "Hey, I just want to introduce ourselves. I'm such and such. We're with another church and another group." And he's like, my wife looked over and said, "There's those podcasters."
No way.
And you remember this? I
Yeah,
told you
I
and David,
remember
I
it
came over and
now. Yeah.
Nicole, we were all sitting together. Yeah, a tiny restaurant and in the middle of nowhere in Israel. And some people
That's crazy.
recognized us from the Forward podcast. They came over and
Finally,
introduced themselves. So
after
it was awesome.
3 years.
It was really cool. I loved
That
that.
was cool.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is
It was
cool.
awesome. It was
Neat.
awesome. But
Yeah.
anyways, hey, tonight's going to be a really cool episode because what we'd like to do is to jump in over the last couple weeks. We've had questions come in that some people we've been able to just write back and to address, and then some of those questions we thought, man, these are actually so good.
Yeah.
It would be awesome once again just to put these into an episode,
They're
and
general
so
enough. I think a lot more people
for sure.
think about these things and struggle with these things than just a few. So,
Absolutely. So,
yeah.
hey, why don't I start out? Let me look at one that would be super good for you. Is there one that you? Oh yeah, let me do this third one here. Actually, the last 2 weeks we've been talking about marriage. So
Hmm.
we talked about you being young, then middle age. So here's another question goes right along with that, which is probably why this question came in. But it says, "I'm feeling bored within my marriage and distant from my spouse. How do I fix that when I don't really want to?"
Oof.
Wait, did you write this?
How'd
Karen,
mine get in there?
Kari Shepherd, I swear. Let me answer this. That's a great question. We're not making light of it. Like, I actually love that someone had
Yeah. The guts.
the
That's
guts,
gutsy.
yeah, and
I don't
man,
want to
they're
fix it.
truthful enough with themselves to
Yeah.
say, to be honest with you, I just don't want to put the time in. Like,
Yeah.
I, I'm feeling distant, but maybe I want to.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reading into that, and there's probably some deep counseling that ought to come out
For
with
sure.
that individual. But it's a great question. What would you say to
Yeah.
that? Feeling
Um,
distant. Have you ever felt distant from me?
oh yeah, I think we've gone through
Oh,
times here and there. We felt distant.
really? No, sure. Of course we have. Of course we have. But
Yeah, I mean,
have you ever
I think
felt
that's
like,
common.
man, I don't want to fix this? Like that's kind of the issue I would say here.
Yeah, I think just through some counseling and seeing some things over the last 20 years, I think it does get to the point where someone by the time they admit their marriage might be in a difficult spot, it kind of feels too late to them. I think
Mm,
that's what I'm reading in here. Like
yeah.
I I maybe need to fix this, but I kind of don't want to
Mm,
because maybe freedom and having your own life and starting over is looking a little more tempting than
mm,
trying to fix something that feels too far gone. I will say this just because I mean there's a lot of variables here and we can go
yeah.
into some
Yeah.
deep thoughts, but to keep it
Let's hear it.
moving and on the lighter side,
Yeah.
I think you need change. I think you need change. I would
Mm,
change something up. If you can possibly change your job, where you live, even just moving house. Like I would bring some serious change into the marriage that pushes you closer together. Let me just say, if you don't want to fix it, if it's not because of abuse, if you're just bored, I mean, which
mm,
obviously I'm feeling bored in my marriage. Okay, so if you're bored and distant, um, it sounds like it's nothing. It's not anything like from abuse or anything like that.
right.
So I think you just need change. I think you're both bored is the correct word. You're
Mm,
probably, if I'm guessing right, you're just, no
mm,
one's done anything interesting lately.
yeah.
I would say be a more interesting person. That's what I would say. I think
Ah,
you just need to be more
so cool.
interesting. I think you need to draw your spouse's attention. They're probably coming home, whether it's man or woman, and doing their nightly routine. We all get stuck in that. We get
Hmm.
stuck in routines that are we start to get comfortable, and to everyone in our family, we get boring.
Yeah.
I would say if you're bored with their spouse, they're probably just as bored with you.
Yeah.
I would just be a more interesting person. I would go get a different job or a new hobby. I would join a new community group together, take up a sport together,
Mm,
go on a hike, grab the kids and stay overnight in an interesting Airbnb. A lot of people don't spend money on being interesting because they're afraid.
Mhm.
This is a side note on my financial philosophy, which you may or may not want to heed.
I'll mute it. Can you mute this right here real
You
quick?
might want to stop listening right now. But I will say this, people don't. People are afraid to spend money. They're more concerned about savings. Look, you can have the savings and be dead in the casket, and you've got thousands in the bank, millions in the bank. Doesn't matter. Didn't do you a bit of good. Go overnight in a fun Airbnb with your spouse. Spend the money on a new outfit. Not all the time. Not all the time. But if you're getting stale and you're getting bored, you might razzle dazzle each other with a new outfit.
Yeah.
You might walk in a red dress. I don't know. I would just not be bored though. I
That's
wouldn't be
cool.
bored with my life, and I wouldn't be bored with my spouse.
Don't you feel like here, oftentimes the fix is easier than what we make it?
Oh, it's most of the time easy.
Yeah.
Again, if this is not based on like an abusive situation, if
Right.
this is just
Right.
normal, boring
Mm.
Deadsville life,
Yeah.
yeah, I think the
There's
fix is easy.
Yeah, when you were giving this advice, I kind of had that feeling. Oftentimes, I think we make situations a lot more complicated than they need
Yes.
to be. And I'm listening.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, actually, that's a very easy fix.
Yeah.
I would say adding to that, it's always fight for your marriage.
Yeah,
Like we are getting to
absolutely.
a place. I was just having this conversation the other day around the fire with Katie, how we are raising a generation where everything is just so easy.
Mhm.
Even video games. That's what it's brought up. It was so stupid. I saw this reel, and it's like video games are even different nowadays. That you respawn. There's no lives. It's just easy. Like okay, you died. You start back where you died, and you go on. And
Mhm.
when we were young, you had 3 lives if you didn't get Mario or Donkey Kong or, and if you died, you had to go all the way back to the beginning and start the whole game over. And everything's so laid
Gosh,
out, it's so easy
what a
now,
time to be alive.
including marriages. It's like people are they give up too easy. It's like, oh well, we don't get along, or oh, I don't want to put time into it, or what was the question here? Distant from my spouse. Well, I don't know how to fix that. So I think it's just, I just want to quit. Like, well, you can't. You
Yeah.
said I do. Put the time in. Like, marriage
Yeah.
is hard sometimes. It's a relationship. Working is hard. Like,
Yeah.
this earth is cursed and relationships are hard. So
Yeah.
I would say the fix is probably easier than you think. You've brought that out. Amazing. I think, secondly, fight for your marriage. Like,
Yeah.
do something, change it up.
Well, fight for yourself.
Yes,
Like the
absolutely.
fact that you're bored with a person that you've made a commitment and a vow to, I mean, that's a little bit of a lame response.
Yeah.
Like I'm bored, I just don't want to fix it. Like I think you need fixed. Like
Well,
that's just a lame response to anything in general. Like I'm just bored and I don't want to fix it.
yeah.
Well, we don't want to fix a lot of things. It's called maintenance. It's called life. Like yeah,
We
I mean,
have, yeah.
yeah.
We've gotten to a place where relationships do to you have to continue to work. Or
Yes.
they do. It does become vanilla. It
It
does very
can.
become just
Absolutely. And I don't
it's
think that's
mundane and
necessarily wrong
right.
because we don't know. I mean, routine is good. There's
Sure.
there's things like we have to have routine in some sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
but you have time in your day at some point. You do.
Well, here's what I would say. Um and the reason I say this is because you and I just had a long conversation. Communication. Like
Yeah.
communicate.
Yeah.
I think these are things you might not even necessarily have to get a mentor or go to your buddies at work or call your mom. Like it might just be getting with your spouse and literally communicating. Here's why I'm bored. Well, here's what I don't like. Like here's some things that need to step up. And then being
Yeah.
vulnerable enough to say, what can I do to change?
Yeah.
And then listen. Like there are things you and I have had hard conversations. Like here's where this relationship our relationships come to this place or this place, and we talk it out.
Yeah.
Like I think it's being willing to put yourself out there to say I'm gonna put the work in,
Mhm.
and what do I need to change,
Yeah.
and then be willing to meet somebody halfway. Or
What was that sound?
is that I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Anyways,
I'll
yeah,
say this to close out this
yeah,
question.
let's go.
I have heard it said before in counseling situations where the woman says, I tried to engage. She just doesn't want to engage with anything I do. I've tried to take up a new hobby or this, or like, I'll just tell you this. I wouldn't be ignored. Like I would do something. I mean, your spouse well enough. If you've been married a year or more, you know what makes them tick. You know what lights
Mm,
them up. I just think sometimes people aren't willing to do the things. Like
mm,
just I wouldn't be ignored. I would find a way not to be ignored, but I wouldn't be ignored. Like
That's good.
it would be something, you can find something.
Yeah.
And so that's that.
If somebody wants to know more about that topic, can they DM you
Oh,
and
yeah,
ask more? Yeah,
absolutely.
because I think
I have lots of ideas.
I think we're hitting surface level, and sometimes on this podcast it's hard because we do have a wide variety of listeners,
Right.
and that might be something that somebody says, "Hey, Kari, I really would like to take it to that next level. How do I do that?"
For
To where
sure.
you could be, more in depth for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
All
That's a
right,
good one. Okay, I'll
ask
ask you
away.
one.
Yeah.
I've lost my job. Where do I begin to know what God is doing? So
I've lost.
someone out
Yeah.
there has lost their job, and oh yeah, that would be, especially if it's a guy, like your job is kind of
Yeah.
your identity, maybe.
Yeah, so
That's tough.
I think we can go through this one pretty quick. Here's what I would say. You probably won't know what God is doing for a little while.
Okay.
So you just I've been there actually. I haven't lost a job where I was like either fired or let go, but when I was at West Coast Baptist College 2020, little thing called COVID happened and it changed everything.
Hmm.
And there was a lot of placement, and I knew God was calling us back to the pastorate. And there were moments I didn't really know what God was doing. He was shutting doors a lot that I felt like should have been open. And at the time, I didn't know how many times did we walk. That summer I walked 600 miles
Yeah.
just talking to the Lord. So be proactive, keep looking for a job, but just know God is always working behind the scenes. We don't know, what He's doing, but it's always going to be right.
Hmm.
So don't become discouraged. Don't become depressed. You don't have to sob. Like God's doing something, and we have to
Yeah.
work. So just continue to be proactive, looking for a job. Now that I'm at Crosspoint for 5 years,
Hmm.
yeah, I can look back and say, "Oh, that's why God was shutting doors."
Makes
That's
sense.
it. It
Yeah.
all makes sense now. It didn't at the time, so I'm not
Yeah.
again making light. It's a very difficult place to be in. But I would say the question was, where do I begin to know what God is doing? Is you just keep doing what you've always done. Read your Bible, pray, be in
Mm.
church, be
Mm.
active, be more active. Now you
Mm.
don't have a job, so go get more active in the local church, be more active with friends, be more active with the gospel, be very proactive in uh, knocking doors and I need a job, need a job, need a job,
Mm.
and eventually you'll look back and if you're right with God, it will all make sense. But where do I start? Start with what you've always done,
Mm.
and that's stay close to God.
That's good. That's very good.
All right, let me ask you.
Yeah.
I want to serve in church, but it doesn't seem like they need help. How do I serve when I feel like there's no place for me? Actually, this is a really good question
This is
because
good.
this is often
It doesn't seem like they need
we
help.
do build ministries
Yeah.
that's like, can you sing? No. Or can you be in a nursery? No. You need to go towards the church, down the street. Yeah, we can lean one way. So, what do you tell people?
Yeah. For certain, they need help. So definitely check that question in your mind off. It doesn't seem like they need help. They do. They
The
definitely need
church
help.
needs help.
The church needs
Yes,
help.
yes.
I don't think I've ever been a part of a church that didn't need more help. Typically, you've got 20% of the people doing 80% of the work. I actually don't know if that statistic is true.
I don't believe
I've
it.
always heard that, and I have no, I mean, how would we know?
Tom Rainier came out with a book. I think it was Who Moved My Pulpit, and it might not be that one. I can't remember. One of his books dug into that a little bit more and it wasn't quite
Yeah.
true. Not quite true, but it sounds good. It
Feels
sounds
true
good.
sometimes,
Well, it
but
does.
I don't know if it's
Anyways,
true.
go for
Anyways,
it.
definitely not 100% does the work for sure. So how do I serve when I feel like there's no place for me? I would say, first of all, do you really want to serve or do you have a specific job in mind? Because some people say, I want to serve in the church. And in their head, they're thinking, I want to teach a class. And so when they go and we're like, oh, we need someone to clean the
A
nurseries,
preconceived idea.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh no, I don't want to do that. And we're like, okay,
It's
well, we
good.
need someone to serve in the nurseries on, Wednesday nights. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Okay, well, we need someone to work the coffee shop. No, I don't want to do that. I was really thinking I want to teach a class. And we're like, well, we just don't always have openings for, people will get in a class and teach for many years. And so it's not like, so don't go into it with like, you want to do one thing. And if you can't get that fulfilled, then you're not going to help,
Do you feel like a big percentage of people that's where they're at though? Like,
I feel like that's been my experience
okay,
that when
that's
I've had
good.
someone want to help, it's very, very few people that say, I just want to serve the Lord. I just want to help. I'll do anything. Most of the time, someone has one thing. It's very narrow.
Yeah.
And if you don't give them that, like I've had more than one lady, not necessarily at this ministry, but just over the years,
Yeah.
I've had more than one lady come up and say, I want to speak at ladies' events. And I'm like, okay, well, we have 2 banquets a year.
Right.
I mean, I can give you one, or I don't even know you, like you just got here.
Right.
I'm not just going to turn you loose on our ladies. Like it's very like specific what they want to do. That's been my experience. Doesn't mean it's
Right.
nationwide or anything, but I will just say, if you want to serve the Lord, pray about it. If he lays something specific on your heart, maybe your church needs that. If not, just serve. Who cares? I do a myriad of things, and I do none of them because I'm the pastor's wife.
Yeah.
I do all of them because it's available to be done.
Mm.
I was in nursery tonight at church, and it was like, whatever. I mean,
So
somebody needed to
let me
fill the
ask you
nursery.
this.
Okay.
Have you ever wanted to be involved in a ministry and it was not available?
When we moved to Lancaster, I was a pianist and had been a church pianist for 10 years. And I mean, there were like 3,000 pianists at that church, and they were
Yeah.
all better than me. And so it wasn't necessarily like I came in, oh, I hope they asked me to play the piano. I mean, I figured they wouldn't, because again, there was so much talent there. That was a little hard for me to let go of, because I had always done it. And it was like, you go to a big pond and you're a tiny little fish, and it's just something you have to give over. And you know what I found? Man, was it nice. Like the stress of not being the pianist, I didn't realize, like, wow, this is a stressful job. Like, I didn't even realize it till I stepped out of it. I enjoyed the songs. And then I kind of switched over to being, I was never in a choir because I was always playing, the piano. And being able to sing, like that was a whole new thing, and being on front line and everything. So God's got you. Yeah, I think even if you think like I'm really talented in this area and everybody's like, oh, that's full, it's okay. You don't have to do that. I have things that I'm, quote unquote, good at, or I've done in the past, and I don't do them now. But God's got me doing other things, and it's stuff that's actually needed. And so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. So I would say, if you feel like you're not needed, you are. Just be willing to be used in any capacity and go for it. Do your very best. My sister cleans the nurseries. Like my sister, she's the pastor's sister-in-law, and her ministry is to clean the nurseries. Now, she's got tons of talent. She can do lots of other things. But guess what? No one was doing that. And she does amazing because she has a baby. And so she's really passionate about cleanliness because her kid's in the nursery. So she's the best one to have do it. Yeah. She's a clean freak with a kid in there, and she does a great job. She's training her children how to do it. It's like, I mean, what an example of just being used and serving without expecting to be in the limelight. It's awesome.
I think just having a servant's heart.
Absolutely.
Just rolling up the sleeves, getting involved. I do love that about our ministry here. Is I've seen people like Linda Clark, and I think it was Lynn Gemmel, and some of these the other day that man, they're rags and they're wiping down walls. Nicole Fitzgerald, Nicole just was the other day like, Pastor, we need to have this painted. And I began to think like, wow, how did she see that? Well, it came out. She was scrubbing walls. She was scrubbing baseboards.
She's amazing.
And that's just such a servant's heart.
You think of Drew that cleans the gym after every home basketball game. He's in with a broom, and people like that, like he just does it. Yeah. I don't even know if he's ever asked or told, but I mean, he's been doing it for years.
A church can use you, and if it comes to this place where we go to a church, there's only 20 people and everybody's involved, then see the need, take the lead.
Yes.
Have the filters been changed? Can you serve coffee?
Yeah.
Pray about a new ministry, and then talk to your pastor about it. Like, Jesus washed feet.
Right.
It's just, you see it and you do it, and no one is beneath or above. Sometimes in ministry, this is a whole nother conversation, but we really have platformed people to a place where it's like, I just want to do this. And it's the recognition. If we really all just have a servant's heart, then we're in. Right now, we are looking for a maintenance supervisor for our church and school property. So actually, if you're listening to this and you know somebody,
job opening.
we have one, and we really need somebody really bad. But I was telling the guy who we have as an intern, just let us know. We can jump on a lawnmower. We'll go out there and weed eat. We'll help pick up trash. And he was kind of looking at me like, really? And I'm like, absolutely. We've done it before. I've jumped on a lawnmower several times. It just, That's not beneath anybody. It's
No.
just if you want to serve, you can get in there and serve. Great
My
job.
favorite quote on servants is June Cannon said, oh, I don't want to mess up. Volunteers serve when they can, servants serve when there is a task. I love that because
It's
it's
really
like
good.
no matter what needs done. And I know we talk a lot about like jump in and just clean, but there are a lot of times God calls you to be in the limelight.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of women that won't step into the limelight because they're nervous and they're afraid. Sometimes God's calling you to be on the platform.
Yeah.
Sometimes God's calling you to speak or to play the piano or to do a solo. And we're like, oh, I'm more comfortable in the kitchen or cleaning. And it's like, God needs people up there too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's good. We only have time for one more, Care.
Okay.
So let's hit this last one. It says, I miss church a lot because of my job. How can I stay connected when I am not there?
Well, lucky you. You were born in the age of technology.
Yeah, that's true.
Watch online. Be there anytime there's an activity. A lot of people say they miss church because of their job. Maybe you work on Sundays, but do you work? Do you work the whole Sunday? Because I know our church has church at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So like if you're working the entire day, maybe, but if you can rush out and get here at 6 p.m., but you miss the rest of the day, it's okay. Come in your work clothes.
It's good.
I've showed up in my farmer's insurance sweater a time or two. Like it just,
Right.
There's times, on a Wednesday when that happens. If you can come on Wednesdays, but you miss Sundays, if you can come to activities, stop by during the week. During the week and just have a chat with the pastor. How many times? That was a very West Virginia thing, people stopping by and just saying hey to you. I thought that was so cute. I miss that sometimes. Of course, I was at the church a lot more, but stopping in, just say hey to your pastor and say, Pastor, I've got a couple hours. Is there anything I can do around here to help? Can I go make a visit? Can I go visit somebody that's sick and represent our church for you?
Yeah.
Stay connected, watch online. Yeah, I think there's plenty of opportunity. You have to be a little bit like not embarrassed to just show up if you don't feel like, well, I don't know a lot of people. It's okay. They want you there and they want to get to know you. What about you?
I would add one thing, and that is just pray about maybe the Lord will allow your job to change hours to where you could be there. And I do really believe it's vitally important for people to come together and worship.
Yeah.
Fellowship, hear the preaching of God's word. And unfortunately, I know there's some folks out there, they're caregivers for their parents and they can't make it and they can't be there. And
right.
That's a tough place to be in. So I think you've covered it. Watch online if your church has online. Make sure you stay connected. Love people. Reach out to people on Facebook, Instagram. Be
Have
there
people over.
when you can. Yeah, I mean, it's staying involved in a community that service times don't work for everyone.
Yeah.
And so find a local church that maybe does have a time that works for you.
Oh, that's
One
a good
of
idea.
our good friends, Kari Schmidt, just started their church on Saturday nights. They have the whole nother service that they began on Saturday
Oh, wow,
evenings.
that's
And
cool.
it's for people really who work on Sundays, part of it. And man, I love local churches like that
Yeah.
we have multiple services a day. And man, you can come in and just be a part best you can.
Or Travis and Teslin over in Greenwood I think they have a small group meet almost every weeknight, right? So instead of Sunday school on Sundays, they
For
have
different
a group
groups.
that
Yeah,
meets.
I think you're right.
So unless you work 7 days a week, if you have a night where you can squeeze an hour and go to a small group, find a church that has them,
Yeah.
Throughout the week like that. I love that idea. I think that's really good because then
It's awesome.
everyone gets something for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. Hey, good job, Care.
You too.
Sometimes I feel
These were
like
good
Carrie and I,
questions.
we get hit with questions all the time, and there are there's always an answer. We don't always have it, and this is just our opinion. So it's not even. Well, I don't think that's right. I mean, it's just there's a lot of other opinions that can lean in. There's experts out there on all these things, but
Sure.
the main thing is staying close to the Lord, allowing the Holy Spirit to guide you and direct you, and it's a fight, it's a battle. We got to armor up every single day. And so hopefully this was a help. If one of these questions, you have a comment, man, leave it for us. Number two, if you have a question, maybe we might have to finish these next week. So if you
we've
have
got
another
2
one
left.
like, hey, we're dealing with this, We really try not to, if you notice tonight, it's just kind of anonymous. Like we don't put names, so and so asked this. So
Yeah.
write a question in and let us hit it, the topic for sure. Be
Yeah.
the best help that we can. So,
Absolutely.
hey, thanks for listening each and every week. We do appreciate y'all. It's
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you.
And we love doing it. I love doing it with you, Care.
Yeah.
It's really, I
I
think,
always have fun with you.
I'm not sure what episode this is, but 105, 106, somewhere right in there. And yeah, it's been a blast. It's
Yep.
been a blast.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.